The COVID-19 pandemic has affected us in many different ways. Some people will especially tell you they gained weight the past year. If you're one of those people, don't be too hard on yourself. The quarantine has led to a more sedentary lifestyle for everyone. Not to mention that stress eating is a completely normal reaction to a challenging situation. But now it's time to take steps to get back into shape in order to keep healthy. On the program today, how to get your health back on track. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez. Welcome to MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines. If you're concerned about your weight gain during the pandemic, we understand that starting a new, healthier routine can often be daunting. Our guests are here today to guide you in achieving those health goals. With us is Dr. Jonathan Babsaay. He's a family medicine specialist at the Philippine General Hospital. Also with us are Tony and Jim Saret, our celebrity fitness coaches for you today. Thank you all for joining us on today's program. The first thing all you have to understand about the pandemic weight is that you are not alone. So don't beat yourself up over it. We quarantined to keep everyone safe and to stop the spread of COVID-19. With limited movements, we were sure to put on those extra pounds. There are also many other potential factors that could have contributed to one's weight gain. Dr. Joe, I'll start first with you. Ano kaya itong ibang mga factors na kapag contribute sa pagdagdag ng weight ng ating mga viewers?
So the two major causes why we gained weight during the pandemic is number one, our increased level of inactivity. So medyo, like what you said, medyo nakakulong tayo sa bahay to try to control the spread of the COVID-19 infection. So walang activity, walang nababurn na calories, then all these calories definitely nagiging fat, which now leads to our weight gain. Yung next factor would be our food intake naman. So mas dumami yung pagkain natin, tapos yung choices pa ng kinakain natin, medyo kung hindi maayos, we'll discuss about it a little bit later, pwede talaga siyang makadagdag to increase calorie intake, which once again, all these calories, pag naipon, they eventually become fat and nakakadagdag talaga sa weight.
I'm sure you've all heard of the term stress eating. So during this time of stress and uncertainty, it's not surprising that many turn to food for comfort. I'll go to Coach Jim ngayon. Why does stress, what is it about stress that causes people to overeat?
When we're stressed, we try to look for comfort food. Di ba, Doc? Parang we need to see, when you're stressed, you're worried. So basically, what happens kasi with stress, we have what we call cortisol sa loob ng katawan natin. It tends to go up. And when cortisol goes up, ang hunger natin at saka yung craving for calorie-rich food, tumataas din siya. And with that, nagkakaroon tayo ng mas na-activate yung ating fat storage at saka because of that, nagkakaroon tayo ng weight gain.
There have been studies that claim that stress affects even your food choices. This is why we crave sugar-filled foods or comfort foods kung tawagin when we're feeling very anxious. Now, the lack of sleep brought about also by the pandemic has also contributed to someone's weight gain. Now, Doc Joe, explain to us, how does poor sleep naman lead to excessive weight gain?
Lack of sleep kasi acts like a stressor din sa katawan natin. Remember that sleep was the reason why we sleep is basically to allow our body to rest, to recover, to recuperate, and kasama lahat yung mga bagay na yun. So, however, if you don't sleep enough, so estimate nila dapat mga at least 7 hours a night, medyo maganda talaga na tulog. So if you're sleeping less than this, it increases your levels of stress. As explained, tumataas yung cortisol levels. Another thing about lack of sleep is that it also affects yung mga appetite hormones natin. So together with cortisol, gusto natin kumain, that's one. And another reason is that tumataas yung hormone natin na nag-i-induce sa atin na kumain. And then kapag kulang tayo sa tulog, yung hormone para masuppress yung appetite natin, bumababa. So those factors lead tuloy na stress ka na, so kailangan mo mag-stress eating kasi it releases your happy hormones. Kaya those fatty, carbohydrate-laden food, nagre-release yun ng happy hormones. So kung stress ka, kumain ka nun, medyo gaganda yung pakiramdam mo.
Good quality sleep is very, very important, but we know that getting those 8 hours in can be very hard, especially with the added stress and anxiety of this pandemic. That's why I'd like to ask Coach Tony, how can you encourage those, especially that sleep is not just important for rest, but the recovery ng isang tao? What kind of tips can you give our viewers in trying to get that good rest and recovery in?
Sleep is very important. And how do we get good sleep? First of all, you want to have your last meal 3 hours before sleeping. You also want to avoid blue light. You also, because blue light triggers you to be awake. Actually, for every hour that you're on with your gadget or cell phone, it suppresses your melatonin from giving you restful sleep. Whether it's the 6 cycles, right, of REM, deep sleep or non-deep sleep, REM or not. And I think we would like to be de-stressed. Maybe if your cortisol levels are lower by totally thinking of good thoughts, that would help avoid sugar and probably exercise a little earlier, not too late in the evening, so that would get you a restful sleep.
We've mentioned that limited movements due to lockdowns have resulted in weight gain, and restrictions like the closure of gyms, studios, and even parks mean that people are getting less physical activity in. And back-to-back Zoom meetings throughout the day keep us seated for long periods of time. Now, a study found that active adults have seen their activity level drop by on average around 32% during quarantine. Dr. Joe, can you tell us more about this and how it has contributed to weight gain?
So number one, kahit sabihin natin na siguro in your area of work before, nakaupo naman din kayo palagi. But there's still that when you go to work, kahit paano, you have to walk if you're commuting, or even kahit na you're driving your own car, you go to your work of where you work, you park your car, you still have to walk kahit pa paano, ganyan. So, but when you're at home, technically, wala na lahat yun. All you have to do is you don't even have to really take a bath or anything. Magsuot ka lang ng maayos-ayos na t-shirt, pwede ka na for Zoom meetings.
Coach Jim, I'd like to ask, so because of this pandemic, the work-home situation has increased for a lot of our viewers, and many may not associate their home really with that of a healthy space or somewhere, especially if they're used to going to gyms or being outdoors to get their physical activity. The home doesn't really seem so much as a place for activity or healthy activities for that matter. What can you suggest for our viewers to increase their physical fitness at home?
It's not really the exercises, because there's so many exercises you can find online, right? It's really more of the motivation or in the inspiration to move yourself, diba? That's actually that's a missing link talaga, that be inspired to move. Sometimes we don't have any reason or inspiration to move at all because we're at home, we're wearing shorts while doing Zoom meetings, right? We don't even have to shower.
Right.
So we have to have this motivation or inspiration. But if that's difficult to find, then what we try to teach people is to start developing habits. We all know how hard it is being at home and that everything has changed. So we have to start creating healthy habits. So one of the things we like to push is what we call our 4-minute morning habits. Actually, there are 2 things we push. The morning habits, which is you do first thing in the morning, that way it's done. You don't have to worry about it the rest of the day. Then the second habit we like to push is doing midday and mid-morning like 1-minute workouts or wellness activities that you do every 10 o'clock a.m. or 3 p.m. It could be any time, but for us, it's what we set. We give structured activities that you have to do every day. That's why it's called habits. That way, it gets to be done. Even if you're not motivated, if you're not inspired, you know you have to do it. At least you can get that out of the way.
And we also want to stress to our viewers, don't be too self-critical if you've put on some extra weight. The pandemic has changed our lives in many different ways, and transitioning back to normal will take time. While there are many fad diets, we don't suggest drastically changing your diet. You need to pace yourself, or do not eliminate an entire food group completely at that. Dr. Joe, what's at the root of an effective and healthy diet?
The thing about the word diet, pag nagkaroon siya ng negative connotation na parang ginugutom mo yung sarili mo, hindi ka kumakain ng maayos, ganyan. But what I want the audience to remember is that the word diet means technically yung types of food that you're eating. So when you say diet, yun yung mga kinakain mo. And basically, the simplest advice na nakita ko so far is just really to have a balanced diet. And ito, tinuturo na sa atin since elementary, di ba? Have a grow type of food.
Now, Coach Tony, could you give our viewers some tips on how to choose good carbs, for that matter, in order to get their metabolism going again?
In terms of carbohydrates, you don't want to pick the refined sugars. You want to pick the complex carbs because they're low glycemic and they're slow burning, and that gives you a feeling of satiety longer. And it has a lot of benefits too. So you just have to be discerning.
Now, diet is one thing, staying active is another. When we return, we'll discuss ways to stay active during the pandemic. Keep it here on MedTalk Health Talk. We're your partner in healthcare. This is CNN Philippines. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez. This is MedTalk Health Talk, where your health comes first. If you've gained weight during the past year and haven't gotten back into shape, that's okay. So many others are going through the same thing. But it's time to reverse it to protect your health. Now, in order to get back into shape, staying active is a vital step. Now is the time to stop making excuses and start moving. We understand that many of you are busy and working out is usually the last on your list, but short bursts of activities can still be helpful. Dr. Joe, can you explain how important these short bursts of activities are?
It's been taught to us, or laging sinasabi, even the doctors that we consult to, laging sinasabi sa atin, you should exercise at least 30 minutes a day or in this certain period of time. And for the longest time, it's been said na dapat continuous siya. It should be tuloy-tuloy na exercise for you to really get the benefits. That's still true. So it's still best, or mas maganda pa rin na tuloy-tuloy talaga yung exercise. May blocks talaga of exercise para continuous yung burn, the benefits are there. However, more recent studies have shown na even if you do just short bursts of exercise, you may not get the complete or 100% benefit of doing the exercise continuously or the physical activity continuously. But you still get some certain benefits. So it still raises your heart rate, you're still burning more of your calories. So it becomes very, very important. And this isn't just about exercise. So the more recent recommendations now tell us that any physical activity, including household chores, can be accepted as part of activity for the day. Kasi nga ang ina-accept na natin ngayon is any activity is better than none.
For those that say they're too tired, exercise actually reduces weakness as well as fatigue. Now, Coach Tony, what are some of the benefits of exercising? Because a lot of people may say, exercising is not for me. I'd rather just eat right and lose weight by dieting. What is your advice for those?
Right now, it's very important and crucial that we exercise because it's good for our cardiorespiratory immunoresponses. Especially right now, we don't want to be susceptible to getting sick. It's the pandemic, and we realize that health is wealth, and that this pandemic, this virus has totally leveled the playing field. Rich, poor, young, old, male, female. Ang labanan is getting your immune system bulletproof. And I mean, there's really no 100% bulletproof way to totally just fight off the virus, but at least besides vaccination or besides being healthy from the inside out, that's what we need to do. And exercise is one way that totally increases the efficacy of the vaccine and totally gets your immune system up and about.
How much exercise should an adult actually have? Now, having 4 minutes in the morning, 1 minute, 2 1-minute exercises is great, but this is great to start with, but how much do you actually recommend?
The recommendation of 30 minutes a day, a lot of people don't have time to do it. A lot of people are too lazy to do it, or a lot of people just are not motivated to do it. So what we tell people nowadays is to just get started. Just like what Doc said, what you said, Doc, just a while ago. Let's just get started. Short bursts of activity, starting from 1-minute exercises, no matter how light it is a good way to do it. Now, if you do this every single day, Your 1 minute will eventually become 2 minutes, then it'll become 3 minutes, it'll become 4 minutes. You just have to get started. Don't think of the 150 minutes a week. Don't think of the 30 minutes a day. Let's start with where you are at right now. If you can only exercise for 2 minutes, let's start with that and just be consistent. At the end of the day, we always tell everyone, exercising, being fit is all about consistency, not really the intensity. Intensity can come in later on, but let's just be consistent.
Dr. Joe, what are some of the tips that you could share with the viewers when they're looking to start a workout routine and trying to get that activity up?
So it's really about how to motivate yourself to starting. So malaking bagay talaga dyan would be number one, choosing what you want to do. Ano bang may form of exercise ka ba talaga na gusto? Kasi it's something that you really want to be able to do continuously. And I agree, you start slow, find that sweet spot muna na hindi ka sobrang pagod, pero merong konting exertion. It gives you that glow, that endorphins, but not necessarily na pagod talaga. And then you wrap it up from there. And then another excellent issue is that allow yourself to have adequate rest.
Very good advice. Now, when is weight gain a concern? We'll discuss this after a short break. We want to be your partner for a lifetime of good health. Stay with us on CNN Philippines. Welcome back to Med Talk Health Talk. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez. Life under lockdown disrupted our daily routines, affecting many people's health regimens. While for some, it's just a matter of shedding the extra weight. But for others, excessive weight gain can lead to a number of health problems. Coach Tony, when is weight gain a concern during the pandemic?
We have the two parameters, no, Doc? I don't know if we should be following the American standard or the Asian BMI index. But for the more generic one, it's when your body weight is beyond 24.9. So if you're 25, then if you're 25 past 25, you're considered to be overweight. So yung range na 18.5 to 24.9 is still average or normal. And once you go past that, 25 to 29.9, you're actually overweight. Pag 30 naman, you're already considered obese. And then there's obese 1, obese 2, obese 3. There's also such a thing as underweight. And Doc, like we've been discussing in the past, it does not also always suggest that if you are underweight, you're healthy, because there is such a thing as skinny fat. Skinny naman on the outside, but fat from the inside when your organs are covered with visceral fat. So basically, Doc, that's what the body mass index means.
Now, I'd like to ask Coach Jim real quick, because he mentioned this over time. Now, it's important to be active, but one problem that a lot of people may have during this time is that motivation. What's your secret? What keeps you motivated to really get up in the morning and be active and be healthy?
Well, getting motivated is it's always going to be a case-to-case basis. For us, is this our field? We have no choice. When we relax, sometimes we have people tell, "Coach, you're gaining weight." Oh, okay, gotta get back, right? But for everybody else, finding the motivation is something that's a little bit tricky. But what we do tell people, and sometimes which we do to ourselves, we look at exercise as not a way to lose weight. We actually we don't tell people exercise to lose weight, even though during this pandemic people have gained weight. We tell people exercise to make your body stronger, to make your heart stronger, to make your lungs stronger, your bones, everything. We do know that when we move, the whole body gets stronger.
And we're reminding everyone to please still follow safety protocols, especially when taking your walks or runs outdoor. Now, Doc Joe, what are some of the minimum health standards that we should all abide by? Let's remind our viewers again.
Yeah, so it's basically the same whether you're exercising or going out or anything. The basic minimum health protocols that you still need to maintain would still need to wear your face mask, wear your face shield, especially if you're going indoors, pag kasi mga gym. When you're outdoors, pwedeng kahit walang face shield, especially if you're running or you're biking. Hand washing is very, very important. Still maintain that minimum physical distancing of 2 meters or 6 feet. When you do go to the gym, wipe with alcohol on the equipment that you'll be using. And of course, lastly, to increase that protection, have yourself vaccinated if you're given the opportunity na mabigyan na ng vaccine to make sure na your protection against getting infected while you do exercise or do your other activities will be at an optimum level.
So for those of you ready to get back into shape, these are a few key strategies to help ensure greater success. Establish a daily routine. Find a form of exercise you enjoy. Plan and prepare healthful home-cooked meals and get plenty of quality sleep. Thank you, family medicine specialist Dr. Jonathan Babsaay and celebrity fitness coaches Tony and Jim Saret for sharing with us your insights. We hope our conversation today was very helpful to all our viewers. Choose well and choose to be healthy. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez and we'll see you again next time. Stay safe, everyone.